You know, our first guest today for directing That Thing Called Tadhana, Never Not Love You, Alone Together, and Fangirl. She is one of the leading voices in Philippine cinema that captured the millennial and Gen Z audience and gave a new face to what pelikulang Pilipino could be. Now, Direk Tonet Jadaone produced her most, or rather produces her most thought-provoking work yet, with award-winning movie Sunshine, starring Maris Racal, Piolo Pascual, and Maricel Soriano. Joining us in the Hangout, Direk Tonet. It's a beautiful day, Direk. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hello, good morning.
Alam mo, Derek, we are getting used to this setup. First time kami naka-podcast setup ngayon. And you actually do have a podcast, so you have to give us notes here. Ang Walang Kwentang Podcast with JP Habak. Of course, any notes for us? Kasi if I'm not mistaken, you talk about everything and anything under the sun.
Yes, I started the podcast in 2020 at the start of the pandemic. So I guess it's really about the chemistry with your co-host, if you have one. Treating it like a regular conversation, but also being responsible to know that there are people who listen to you. And it's not just actually you talking, but you have a wide audience that really spend time to listen to your thoughts and insights.
That that medyo patay kami dun sa when it comes to the chemistry kasi yung we're right now we're covering millennials and Gen X.
Gen Z and Gen
Gen
X.
X.
Yeah.
Hindi
Gen X
tayo, no?
parang
What are
too
we?
young. Ako?
Oo.
Gen X.
Ayun. Millennial. No, pero Derek, of course, you come in here because 10 years ago, Anne and I were talking about it. That thing called Tadhana really made a different impact. What did that leave you
10 years
with?
ago na pala
10
yun,
years
ano,
na yun,
Direk
oo.
Tonet?
Actually, it was 11.
11.
11 years
Yeah,
ago. And it was actually born out
we
of more than a decade's worth. Oh, okay.
premiered in 2024, but we had the 2025, 2015.
Okay.
All right, Derek, we're gonna try to get your connection fixed in just a
Yes.
bit. But then again, we were talking about si Direk Tonet a while ago, diba? Of course, just yung I guess the way that she makes films kasi it reaches a wider audience compared to I guess what some people would have expected.
Yeah.
And considering na it's a I don't know, it means a controversial topic like Sunshine. Right?
Yes.
Sunshine in particular, or stalker films in general. But Direct Tonet, again, let's try this again because we were talking about that thing called Tadhana a
Yeah.
while ago, and it left an impact on Anne to the point to the point
Ang
that
ganda
I
kaya
think
ng
oh,
Direk, ang ganda ng chemistry ni JM and ni Angelica Panganiban, 'di ba? And their acting skills are just wow. It's so natural, the way they blended together. And it's born out of more than a decade's worth of love stories and heartbreaks. Paano mo decide to pour all that into the stories of these stars?
Um, I was at the core, I'm really a rom-com girl. I mean, before I got to direct these rom-coms, I was a rom-com audience, and I still am. So I guess throughout the years, while I was watching my favorite rom-coms from Star Cinema and Viva Films, I was already trying to create that perfect rom-com in through all these that I've watched. So parang nagsa-side notes ako, and I was trying to write or do some scenes on the side, not knowing that years later I'll be able to use all those experiences that I have, and my friends' experiences and all my friends who shared their experiences with me. I didn't know that later on I'll be making a film out of it.
speaking of your films, I want to talk about your latest, Sunshine. I want to read out the synopsis first para alam ng mga viewers natin the context of what we're all going to be talking about. So this is a synopsis. Just days before her team's tryouts for the Olympics, dedicated young gymnast Sunshine, a powerful Maris Racal, discovers that she is pregnant. Now she must embark on a desperate and risky journey to fight for her dream Alam mo, Direk Tonet, just looking at yung subject matter na yan, it's a far cry from yung rom-coms that we were just talking about. Can you tell us a bit more about yung origin story ng Sunshine, why this was a story you wanted to tell, and of course, why it was written in the first place?
I wrote it during the pandemic, and as you know, the film industry was really shut down
Mm-hmm.
during the pandemic. Hindi kami pwede mag-shoot, hindi kami pwede lumabas. So, but as a writer, I knew I can't just stay there and not write or not be creative. So, I was doing some research, and I came across the stories of teenage girls who got pregnant, etc. Tapos, I started to interview girls who got pregnant in their teens, who continued their pregnancy, others who terminated their pregnancy. And they were all very chilling stories. And I just knew I needed to continue writing it after hearing all their stories.
Direk, what made you choose Maris Racal to play the role of Sunshine? And why gymnastics? I'm curious.
Okay. Si Maris, I've worked with her in other projects before. So, nakatrabaho ko siya sa The Kank Show. It's a series I have with Angelica Panganiban. And
Mm-hmm.
Simula sa Gitna, it's a romance series naman. And so, even then, I already loved working with her. Eh, pero yung physicality ni Maris, she's lean and fit and very petite. Very ano na siya, very gymnast na. So pasok yung physicality niya. Tapos ano rin siya, she's a dancer. So yung flexibility and gracefulness, parang built-in na rin sa kanya. So kaya yung training niya as a gymnast, medyo mas madali na skip na niya yung flexibility stage. Pero what I love about Maris is the way she treats the characters na binibigay sa kanya. She's not classically trained as an actress. So when she does a scene, very instinctive, very
Right.
intuitive. That's what I really like about her with my collaborations with her. Parang nasa-surprise niya ako kahit alam ko na yung eksena, kahit nag-usap naman na kami. Parang kapag nag-action ako, may iba pa rin siyang mabibigay. And I think it really worked well for something like Sunshine.
I want to talk.
Tapos,
Mhm.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead, Direk. Yeah, no, because I
About
want
the
to talk
question
about
naman
the.
about
Sorry, I want to talk about the physicality kasi that you mentioned with si Maris. Kasi rhythmic gymnastics, first of all, we're seeing clips of her in action. At the amount of discipline actually required
Right.
to nail a lot of those actions in particular. I've covered gymnastics for a very long time, since even before Kaloy made it big, even a bit of rhythmic gymnastics. And iba talaga yung disiplina nila, iba yung, their bodies change in particular. And Maris, nga, you mentioned it a while ago, very petite, it does fit the bill. Pero how did she get into the whole gymnastics aspect of yung film na to?
She trained.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
she trained
Had
for a
to.
year, if I'm not mistaken, for the movie.
yes. Yes, that's true. She trained with the national team of our gymnastics, with our national gymnastics team. And yung coach, we have a national team coach coaching her. Tapos meron kaming isang national team gymnast na isa ring coach niya. So, pinagsabay niya to sa isa pa niyang show, yung Can't Buy Me Love. Tapos, di ko nga alam pa paano niya nagawa na she was coming from a very different kind of a series na very very fun, very rom-com to this very emotional kind of a film. But I felt from the start na she really wanted to make this right. So, nagtitraining siya, and even then, in between, nag-acting workshops din kami. We did scene studies. We did character sketches para kuha niya yung physicality and also the emotional side of being Sunshine.
Direct, when you look at your lineup of movies, the movies that you've directed, ang ganda ng mga female characters talaga. So we have Maris Racal as Sunshine, we have Liza Soberano, we have Julia Barreto, their characters, Angelica Panganiban in That Thing Called Tadhana. What do you love most about writing about, girlhood, these female characters?
I guess it comes out naturally for me because growing up I was surrounded by women,
Mm-hmm.
by very outspoken and very empowered women. So growing up it was just a natural thing. Parang whenever I'm asked nga why do I write these strong empowered women? For me parang ay meron bang hindi strong empowered women? I didn't know that
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't the I guess the status quo then. So writing about these women, it feels very like like being just natural. I'm a woman and I write stories about women and for women. Kasi parang built in I guess pag babae ka, built in yung struggle sa
Right.
society. Parang
Yes.
when you're born a woman, meron talagang meron talagang hurdles yung life sa'yo na kahit hindi mo naman ginusto, meron talaga.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
So,
mhm.
oo. So, built-in na rin yon yung pagsusulat ng characterization, yung pagsusulat ng story arc, kahit na family yan, dahil babae yung character mo, malakas na siya kasi
Mhm.
marami nang binigay yung buhay sa kanya kasi
Right.
hindi pumapabor yung lipunan natin talaga para sa mga babae.
Yeah, thank you so much for writing and directing those types of characters, Direk. But of course, at the same time, we also touch on a few controversial topics with your latest work here. In an interview on the Filmmaker magazine, you said, and I quote, "The abortion ban may be protecting the unborn, but it's killing our women too, both literally and figuratively." Of course, that type of statement, Direk, it does impact a lot of women. I'm sure those who are going through that in particular. Why is it important to highlight this particular message? What did you mean by this, Direk?
While I was researching and doing immersion for Sunshine, di ko talaga alam yung mga ganyang statistics
Mm-hmm.
that there are there are three Filipino women who die every day, three women who die every day from complications brought by abortion. And there a lot of them, our youngest ever to give birth in the Philippines was 9 years old, and it was she was also a victim of incest. And during the time of the pandemic, there were a lot of cases of rape, of incest, and habang lumalaki yung population natin, lumalaki rin yung mga cases na yan, including abortion.
Mm-hmm.
And before it was just like a concept to me, the that kind of a world. Pero habang nagre-research ako at nakausap ko na talaga sila, pinuntahan ko talaga sila, parang realidad siya, hindi lang siya kwento, hindi lang siya something na nababasa ko sa
Mm.
internet, hindi
Mm.
lang sila parte ng news na binabalita, mga totoong tao sila na hindi lang kailangang ikwento, kailangan siya talagang maparating sa mga tao kasi Sunshine may just be a fictional character, pero siya yung suma total ng lahat ng mga
Mm-hmm.
bagets talaga yung mga na-interview ko eh.
Mm-hmm.
19
Mm-hmm.
years old and below
Mm-hmm.
na grabe yung pinagdaanan. At yun, kaya ganun yung sinabi ko, we always hear the saying na it takes a village to raise a child. And I guess in Sunshine, I wanted to show and ask the question, have we been doing a good job being that village raising the child
Mm-hmm.
who is Sunshine?
Mm-hmm. Well, Direk,
Have we made it safe for,
oo.
for them?
Well, Derek, you know what? I forgot to lead that in, but that was actually our very first answer dito sa hot take segment namin. Kasi syempre, it is a topic that
Yeah.
talagang taboo for some people, but then, and it has been a conversation happening
Mm-hmm.
over and over again.
Direct, kasi syempre, you're going to be showing this movie here in the Philippines, and we are a very conservative, very religious country, diba? It's going to spark conversations in deeply religious communities. How difficult was it for you to bring this movie to life, especially in a predominantly Christian country?
Sorry, I didn't catch the last part, but were you asking how difficult
Yeah,
was
how
it
difficult was
to
it to bring the movie to life? Especially, here in the Philippines, we are a Christian country, predominantly Christian country.
to be honest, while writing it, it wasn't really very difficult. Parang parang as a storyteller and as a writer, your your loyalty should always be to the story that you're writing. And then later, yun, laging tinatanong sa akin, hindi ba nakakakaba, hindi ba nakakatakot? Parang for me, um yung pinaka bare minimum na gusto naming mangyari when people watch the film ay malaman nila na nangyayari to and
Right.
just start a conversation. Just spark that discourse. Kasi yun nga, it's a taboo topic na
Yeah.
parang pag pinag-usapan, hush-hush lang. Pero being able to talk freely about it is already a win for us.
Direk Tonet, you mentioned it, being able to talk freely about it. And, apart from the courage that it takes to write it and to direct it, iba rin the courage to actually act it out and, of course, be a part of the film. I can only imagine si Maris, si Piolo, and everyone part of the cast understanding na medyo controversial yung ginagawa nila, at least from a Philippine context. Kasi abortion in the Philippines don't necessarily mix. Ano yung reaction ng mga actors when they found out the concept, the pitch, and of course, it's almost a bit of like an advocacy, trying to contextualize abortion dito sa Pilipinas, especially knowing, I'm sure you know, what the younger people seeking abortion go through just to do it, at putting their own health at risk, the amount of money they actually spend to do it. How did the actors react to that?
I made sure that when they said yes to the film, they actually read the whole film, not just the scenes that they're. And I also had to talk to them, especially Maris. When she said yes, I had to ask her first to read the script again and think about what the film is saying. And it will be very important to me if she believes in what the film is saying, that she's not just Sunshine as a character in the film, in the script, but Sunshine, but someone who can be a friend to the character of Sunshine even outside of the film.
Direk, have you had experiences ba where the actors don't read the script, umoo na lang?
Yes, a lot of times, a lot of times.
Eh,
And
kasi may tiwala na sila sa'yo direct. If it's from Direk Tonet, you gotta say yes. You know it's a good material.
hindi naman siguro, pero pero ano, there are a lot of instances like that na kaya parang ang nangyayari sometimes when you shoot a scene and they haven't read the script beforehand before saying yes, nagkakaroon pa ng discussion, parang ay may ganito ba, bakit pa, that means hindi kasi niya nabasa.
Direct kami ni Paolo, hindi kami aayaw. Yes, na agad. Yeah.
Kahit, no, pero magbabasa pa rin ng script. Kasi yan yata yung note ni Direk eh. Kailangan magbasa ng script muna. But of course, Direk Tonet, thank you so much for coming on. Could you invite those who want to see this to go catch this, and where can they do so?
Yes, Sunshine is already showing starting July 23, exclusive in SM Cinemas. And, and the tickets for Sunshine are actually lower. We got discounted ticket prices for everyone. For Metro Manila, it's only 275 pesos, and for provinces, it's only 230 pesos. And it's something that SM Cinemas and us, the producers, really wanted to do so that more and more people can watch the film with their friends and their families.
Thank you so much, Direk Tonet Jadaone, for hanging out with us here on Beautiful Day. Again, Sunshine already in cinemas. Maraming salamat. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks, Direct.